What's up, Sagittarius? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a new moon tarot reading for the new moon coming up on June 6th. This new moon is going to be at 16 degrees Gemini. It's going to be at 8:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will put it in the 6th mansion of the moon. Now, you're thinking, the 6th month, the 6th day, the 6th mansion of the moon. Oh, God, what the devil? It's not what it is. 666, I don't know if I've mentioned it before in Sagittarius video, I've mentioned it in other videos, is the magic square of the sun. If you study magic or alchemy, the magic squares with all the numbers in it, if you add them up 111, 111, 111, 111, 6 times, it's 666, the magic square of the sun. So when you see famous people throwing up the 666, they're saying, hey, I'm a star. I'm famous. Yes, they understand that everything is astrological. Everything in our world, like the deep knowledge, is all based off astrology, microcosm, macrocosm. Also, the carbon-12 atom, which is the basis of all life forms on this planet, is 6 protons, 6 neurons, 6 electrons. Neutrons and electrons, 666. Also, when it was written in the Bible, when they were writing out 666, they were in code writing out the name Emperor Nero. In Roman numerals, it would be 666. And they didn't want to say it outright because they would have been crucified too. Astrologically, the sun is conjunct the moon and Venus. So that would look like a very sweet and good energy. In Gemini, it'd be communications of love, really, inward and outwardly. But it's square Saturn. So Saturn would delay that, or things would not be interpreted in the way that you wanted, even if they were coming from a loving place, or vice versa. You wouldn't take the message of love in the way it was meant to be taken if it was coming in toward you. End of a tough cycle approaches, Sagittarius. For Sagittarius ascendants, this would be in your 6th or 7th house where the moon is. 6th house, the house of your physical health, also like little animals, things like this. Maybe you're starting to like really study and learn and like figure out how to get optimal health. I have a lot of Sagittarius in my chart, and I've been trying to do that. I'm trying to get my health going. 7th house would be the house of your one-on-one relationships or your spouse. So there could be, communications of love with your spouse, but they might not be taken in, or even just your one-on-one relationships, but they might not be taken in the way that you meant, only because Saturn is touching it. Also, Mars is square Pluto. That's anger touching rage. So be careful of anger and rage. Now, it's not really touching the sun, the moon, and Venus. Mars is, but it's in a semi-sextile, so it's a minor aspect, but it technically is still touching it. So the influence shouldn't be super great. So it can be avoided, and honestly, it can be avoided anyway. That's why you learn astrology. That's why any of us learn anything, is so that when it comes around, we have enough knowledge or enough light about it in order to subvert it or subdue it or transmute it into what we want it to be. 666 is the middle vibration of 9 and is pure light, the manifestation of the sun. So that's going to be prominent right now. And really, if you study the rays, which is esoteric knowledge, very deep esoteric knowledge, Alice A. Bailey is who you'd want to look up for that. And there's a lot of books on it. The first ray is the ray of the sun, but it doesn't manifest right there. Doesn't manifest purely in people, because if it manifested in such a small being as us, it would be purely destructive in nature, like Icarus flying too close to the sun. But it does manifest mercurially through us, because Mercury is the one that is closest to the sun and is always illuminated. And the sun is in Gemini, which is the Mercury sign, and so is the moon. So this is a time of the sun in a way, which isn't a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. But just be careful of angry communications around specific things with your spouse or in your one-on-one relationships. And don't be mad at yourself about your physical health. Don't turn it in on yourself, because Saturn can do that too, make you unhealthy. You also could be having rough dreams because Saturn touching the moon, it can cause that. Okay, anyway, Sagittarius. End of a tough cycle approaches, which is a good thing, even though because there's some rough cards over here. Quite a few, actually. The center of the reading looks like an earth sign in your life. Or it could just be something that you're nurturing. Now, this could be a marriage card. with this individual. Maybe you were thinking about marrying, or you are married to an earth sign. It could also be you're thinking about marriage with them, or they are very traditional in the way they do things. Very like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how the world tells us it is. This is tradition. This is the way everything is. It could be something like that. It could be that there's a large institution or business, or even just like the internet, right, that's influencing your relationship with this individual, or your interactions with this, or what you're nurturing. If it's something you're trying to create on a large scale, it's definitely being influenced by social media, or a larger company or business, church, school, anything like that. In the recent past, looks like you had a lot of money or a lot of resources came your way in the recent past, but you're also crowned by a more message of money coming in. So it's going to end a tough cycle, whatever this message of money is. And it looks like you had money in the past too. It looks like, I mean, Sagittarius are lucky. They're generally going to have whatever they need because they believe that they're lucky, and they believe, we believe, because I'm heavy Sagittarius too. We just believe that things are going to work out, and because we believe it, they do. And you just kind of, everyone can do that. They just need to do it. That's the beauty of Jupiter, the great benefic, very beneficial, just because you're going to feel that way. Especially if you have a Sagittarius moon, you're going to think that you're lucky. You're going to think that everything's going to go your way, and it probably is. It's good to have it as the sun, ascendant, it don't matter. Sagittarius is a wonderful sign to have in general. So is Leo, so is a lot of the signs, really, especially the fire signs, but a lot of the signs in general can be, especially if Jupiter is involved with them, or Venus, because they're very good planets, or the sun. But in the near future, something strategic is going on. Whether you're being strategic or someone else is being strategic, someone was stealing from you, you find out, something like that. Because that's what this message of money may be. If there's something in your life is being investigated about money, you might find out somebody was taking something from you or trying to take something from you. But it's going to be uncovered anyway. Now, if this is marriage, or you're married to an earth sign, you may feel chained to it. Your unconscious, this is your unconscious influence, feeling chained to something. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It could just be anything that you overindulge in. Like, you want everything in moderation. So if you overly attach to anything can be something that you're chained to, whether it be drugs, alcohol, playing video games, pornography, anything like that. You can be chained to it. Relationship, negative thinking, all these things you can be chained to, right? Also, you could feel like you're chained to a person as well. You could feel that person may have been taking something from you. You may have found out. You may have found out that a large institution was taking something from you. Or you've been strategic about this large institution, and you've been trying to figure out how to get what you can out of them. That type of thing. Could be even the government. You right now, something new is coming forth. A new burst of energy, a new opportunity. You right now. And it looks like it's a new opportunity after heartbreak. Because in your environment, heartbreak. If you were with this person, or you were married to them, you may have separated. Or if you were going to get married, maybe you terminated. You're like, nope, no more. Somebody was being strategic. Maybe you were being strategic. Maybe they were being strategic. But you're like, can't do this anymore. For some reason, you feel like you have to separate from this person or this situation. And it could be work too. Like if it's not a relationship, it could be work, because the Queen of Pentacles is something that they're nurturing. You may feel like that in this work environment, this large company, you were being taken advantage of, or they were being strategic, and you're like, well, we're breaking up. You know what I mean? Because not everybody, some of y'all will be single, right? But those in a relationship may have had a breaking up. But with that being said, it needed to happen because it's an end of a tough cycle. So Sagittarius love being free. So if they ever feel, and I can relate to this because I am heavy Sag, very heavy Sag. Ascendant, Moon, Uranus, Mercury, I'm heavy Sagittarius. If you feel chained, they're gonna want to break free. Sagittarius got to be free. They gotta get out there. They gotta do what they want. They gotta have no. They don't want boundaries. They want to be out there exploring, traveling, all that kind of stuff. Because that's just what Sagittarius is. That's if you're heavy Sag. The only way that wouldn't be the case is if you had a strong Saturn, or you had like planets like Capricorn, Taurus, Scorpio will calm you down. Those water signs or earth signs, really. Heavy water, earth, it'll calm that down a lot. But like for me, I'm basically, I mean, I have water, but I have a lot of air and fire. So it's like, plus like a burning flame, because I have a grand trine in air. So it's like, and then ton in Sagittarius. So it's like air just fanning the flame. So like, I got to feel free, or I got to feel like I'm expressing myself in the way I want, or I have Scorpio to balance out a little bit. But anyway, if you don't feel free, that's what the advice is saying. If you don't feel free, you got to break free, or you will, regardless, just because that's what it is. And that's what the end of the tough cycle probably is. You felt chained to something, whether it be a person, whether it be a job, whether it be just some kind of situation in your life, a way of thinking, specific habits, any of that. You're just like, I'm done. I'm not being chained to nothing. I'm going to go be free. And that may cause some upheaval, because especially if you are separating from an earth signs like repetition. They like patterns. They like things to stay the same. Virgo could be argued, not so much, but definitely Capricorn and Taurus would be like that. And that would upset the apple cart big time. They're not going to want this. It's cause conflict, because you're trying to go out there and do what you want to do. And not anybody that is affected by you deciding to make a big change in your life is probably not going to take it well, because especially if you're going to do what you want to do for you. And you need to be able to do that, because if you can't express yourself in the way that you want, you're probably going to be depressed or sad, right? And you don't want to be that. Nobody wants to be that. Sagittarius is not going to do that. Sagittarians will not live that life. They will go off and do what they need to do to be happy. That's just what it's going to be. Jupiter's expansion. I'm not going to sit here and be depressed. I'm going to go do what I want to do. That's just what it is. I'm not going to live life depressed. And this is probably your wish. Like, because you got to the point, it's just like, hey, I've got to go do what I want to do. Sorry, but I'm not going to be unhappy. I'm going to go do what I want to do. And that maybe upset some people, because they want you to do what they want you to do. And it's not inhuman to be like that. It's just average. It's just how we are as people, being like that. Especially if you've got your lives intertwined in some way, right? And like there's some kind of reliance on each other, or a reliance on you. So if you make a big change, they'll be like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? So they might not go over, so it may cause some arguments. But you got to do what you got to do for you, Sagittarius. Ain't no doubt about that. And it's saying that that's going to end the tough cycle. So you're going to have to take some steps here, it looks like. Whether, like I said, whether it be walking away from a job, or separation from some big company, something like that, or having to be strategic and do what you need to do for you, take the steps you need to move forward, and do it the way you need to do it, so that like nobody subverts what you're trying to do. May break your heart, may break their heart, may break the job's heart. Either way, you may have to separate from people that you did care about a lot. But new beginnings. You're going to go do what you want to do, something that you're passionate about, something that you're happy about, something that makes you feel free, and that you can be expressive. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm doing for you. So, okay, Sagittarius, that's all I have. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. Also hit the notification, because I don't think people are finding their way back to the channel, because YouTube isn't going to necessarily recommend my videos to you on your main page, because I'm such a small channel. So if you turn on the notifications, you'll know every time I upload, which is going to be on the new moon and the full moon, because I base everything on astrology, because that's how it should be done. But either way, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful for the view. And I hope to see you here again, Sagittarius. Happy new moon.